You guys were awesome. It's exactly so far beyond my expectations. I thought it would suck, but so yeah, I'll take a little bit of incongruously pleasant music. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah. So this is kind of a great weekend in addition to this great night that we're having. On Monday, I graduate from medical school. This is our second class. Clap for me. And it's been 5 years, and it's.
Can't hear the song.
Why don't you go kill a bird? So I'm just sort of looking back, and there's things that would happen at work every day. Like you see people naked, you like talk to them while they're shitting. Like nothing is weird anymore. Like I could like watch someone repair someone's hemorrhoids and like eat a sandwich during it. Because I don't care anymore. It doesn't bother me. But looking back, you realize that it wasn't always that way, and those barriers had to be violated for you, and you had to cross over and to sort of never wonder about it ever again. So when I was about the end of my second year, we were starting to do clinical things, and the minute we started thinking about clinical things, we all started thinking about, rectal exams. And this was something that we were all going to have to do. This was going to be a day at the office. You would meet people, you'd ask them a couple questions about their shit, and then you'd stick your finger in their asshole and try and make conversation so it's not weird. Right? So to get us ready to do this, we had to do standardized patients. We worked with standardized patients. These people, I don't know how they were paid or how they were compensated. I don't know if having weird medical students put their fingers in their butts was compensation in of itself. But whatever it was, they were not being paid enough because we would sort of, be introduced to them in these weird scenarios and then test out our rectal exam skills. So to sort of give you a context for how we started doing this, we initially had our OB-GYN exam session, and for some reason my group was all Indian dudes, like not organized by not alphabetically organized, not put together for any other reason other than I guess Indian dudes are kind of weird, so they were trying to limit the damage. And we had this MD PhD, so very smart guy, who was very young. He came there as some sort of wunderkind at 19, and the attending was telling him to sort of keep the patient aware of what you were doing, to sort of, talk to them, make some conversation during the exam, so it's not you just silently looking under the hood. And his interpretation of doing that was, as he was about to begin the exam, without making eye contact with the patient, he sort of ducked under the sheet and just said, "Okay, I'm gonna stick it in." And that was his sort of, building, patient confidence. And so after we did that, predictably the other people were also horrible. A guy had a thing where his voice would crack the whole time. And another gentleman had to be told while doing the exam to make sure that his thumb was off to the side because he kept on keeping it straight up, and it was apparently either uncomfortable or awesome for the patient. And he actually had to be told multiple times, "Please tilt your finger to the side. It is weird." So with this elite crack team of genital examiners, we had to do our rectal exam practice on the oldest man in the world. So that's what he was there for. Like, he was gonna talk to us and then go hand it off to the New Year's baby. Like he was. That's how old this dude was. So I have to go first, and I have to go through this little script with him of asking about his stream and if he's having any trouble going to the bed. Are you having hesitancy? And it's just this sort of weird, it's just a very odd interaction where we are sort of going through this dance. And we know how it ends, and it ends with my finger in his ass. But no matter what, we still have to play it through. And so we also have to do, but in addition to the genital exam, or the rectal exam, we had to do a genital exam on this gentleman too. And so I had to start out, and while I'm, making small talk with this guy before I look at his presumably also very old penis, my compatriots are sort of lined across the wall, and they all have their hands behind their back and are just sort of silently looking like, they don't want to make it weird by, distracting me or whatever. So I have to talk to them, and so we sort of, we start out, and he stands, and I get one of those little rolly sort of, little chairs, and I sit down, and for the first time in my life, I am face to face with a penis, and it's terrible. It was such a bummer. It ruined my whole day. And so, I don't know, good luck, everyone. Thank you, we appreciate, I don't know why you're doing that. But, so I'm face to face with this dude's 900-year-old penis. And you have to squeeze it to make sure that there's no discharge, but your face is right there. So, I'm just I don't want to squeeze it too hard. I want to do it right and get the points, but I don't want to squeeze it too hard and risk it because this is this far. And so as soon as I touch his penis, his penis is 700 degrees. It's really, really warm. And because I have an N of 2, my first thought is, do I have a really cold penis? Has this been a problem with women that I've been totally unaware of for my entire career? Have they been because I have no idea, and so I'm going to sort of assume that he had some sort of penile fever or something that they weren't telling us about. And then I have to check his scrotum and nutsack, and I have to feel it for irregularities. And besides the two, I didn't find anything other than he had a huge difference in how long they were hanging. And I don't know if that's something that is one of those joyful things about aging that we'll all find out soon. I had a patient at the VA who once sort of asked me, pulled me aside from rounds after we started talking to him, to ask if there was a way we could get a plumber to come to his room to lower the water level in his toilet so that his nuts wouldn't be fully submerged.
Oh, shit.
So gentlemen, you have that to look forward to. But that's the thing with nuts, is you want them to be unremarkable. You want a woman to walk away and just not remember that, just they were there, oh, he had no nuts. They just that there were nuts there. I don't really remember them, but he definitely had nuts. That's the beautiful, the prime scenario. You don't ever want a sentence about you to be yeah, his nuts were really. It's never good. It's never good. They're really big, small, lumpy. I don't know, whatever. And so this guy's nuts were fine. They were there, except for the little, the sort of cockeyed thing. They were totally fine. And so then we come to the rectal exam, which my heart is racing and I'm dreading it, my mouth is dry, I'm just in total crisis mode that I'm about to just do this. And you'd think that I'd sort of feel okay about it because I've already just squeezed this dude's dick 5 centimeters from my face and nothing bad happens, so I'm probably in the clear. But the two options he has for this exam are he can either lie on his side in the fetal position to really sort of drive home the point that you are helpless. That just at this point, you are a baby and someone's going to put their finger in your butt and you have no choice. Or to sort of just lean on the table and just wait for the inevitable. So honestly, I would go for leaning on the table. There's just the fetal position was just terrible. So thankfully, he went for leaning on the table. And so I sat back down on my little rolly stool, and now, again, confronted just this far from this dude's old man ass. And so I thought, okay, this is going to be terrible. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to do it. But of course, it was not that simple. because I couldn't find his asshole. His ass cheeks were like velvety curtains. They just were like, oh, it just, the whole thing was such a bummer. Like, I don't think I ate for like 2 days. And not all of it was being grossed out. I just felt weird. But, so I'm like looking at his just sort of velvety, hangy ass cheeks. And I just like, look, this is not gonna they're not gonna let you quit. They're not gonna just like, oh, time out, you just stop? So I just have to do it. So I take my gloved and now lubed, terrible finger, and I just pick a point, which in what I presume is this fold may be his ass crack, I don't know. And I just push, and finally it goes in. So I've successfully located his asshole. Like, step 1 is complete. And so this guy's totally calm about it, and he's like, mm-hmm. And he says, mm-hmm, as I put my finger into his asshole. As this, like, quivering, shaky, just sweaty, like, flushed medical student, just like, mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe it was good, I don't know. And so, I'm just trembling, like, just sort of doing this, and he says, a little bit further. You're not there yet. Yeah, no, you want to go a little bit further, and then you want to sort of make, and then he picks up one of his hands off the table and does this in the air. You want to make sort of a windshield wiper motion.
Oh my God.
So, he keeps on saying, okay, a little bit further. And finally he just stops talking, because I just kept going, just following this man's instruction. And he says, you're too far. And so, while I have just brutalized this man with my ineptitude, 2 guys on the wall are just laughing. They're just laughing and dying. They're like silently rocking with laughter. It's just like three Indian dudes standing there. 2 of them are just gone. But I'm fine until I see the last guy who is just standing there like totally gone, totally checked out. He has no idea that this is happening. And that's what gets me. And so I start laughing while I have my finger way too far in this guy's ass. And so I just sort of take it out, and there's like there's an audible like as I come out. And I'm just sort of sitting there like shell-shocked, like what happens next to my life? And at that point the attending comes over and says, okay, well that was a good way to start. Someone had to go first, and it was you, so okay. And then I stood there and I watched 3 more dudes do what I would like to think are worse versions of what I just did. And that was 2.5 years ago. And I'm glad it happened.